Hi there, my name is Nhyira Premium and welcome to the Business Lecturer in Within Show. On today's show, I'll be sharing with you something about entrepreneurship, and I'll be sharing with you the issue in relation to strategies that are required for startup companies in order for them to become successful. In other words, in this video, I am going to share with you the strategies that you need to put in place, you can adopt in order to start your business right from scratch. Now, most of the time, one of the things that I've encountered with rising entrepreneurs is looking for funding. They look for money, they look for opportunity, they look for investors all across. But then the question is that no investor will be ready to give you money unless you start your business. You can have the best business plan in the world, but then if you don't have any track record, nobody knows you, then you are not going to get any investor from anywhere. So it is then very important to find out what are the strategies that I can put in place as a business person, as an upcoming entrepreneur, so that I can start my business even before looking for funding. Because one of the things that you need to understand is this: success is not about who you know. Success is about who knows you. Get that very well. Success is not about who you know, but about who knows you. So the question you need to ask yourself all the time is not about who do I know, it's about who knows you. How many people do you have? How many people do you have in your network? How many people can refer you? How many people are in your connection? So the issue about who knows you is very important. But when it comes to starting a business, especially in this part of the world, Ghana, Africa, it's challenging and it's difficult because many a times we have brilliant ideas, but then the ideas are not funded because people with the ideas are broke, they are poor, they are students struggling to even feed themselves in school, yet still they have brilliant ideas that they want to take to the next level. So the question then we ask is, how can we use this brilliant idea? How can we monetize this brilliant idea? How can we really start this business so that it becomes successful and we also become successful entrepreneurs? Now, one thing you need to understand is that there is nothing like a perfect time to start a business. That is one thing you need to understand. And I am going to share with you these strategies from an article that I published on my website, which has had one of the largest views so far recently on my articles on my website, and I'm going to leave it in the description box and also in the comment box so that you can click on it and go and read the full article. But in this video, I'm going to discuss with you the various things I shared in the article, as well as talk about other things that you need to know about. Now, one thing I tell all rising entrepreneurs is that you don't have to see the entire staircase. Sometimes you just need to see the first step, and then as you step on and climb further, everything begins to unfold one after the other. You cannot wait for everything to be perfect before you start your business. And for your information, there is nothing like the right time in business. So there is nothing like, you got to start your business in winter, in summer, you got to start your business in January, in February, in December, you got to start your business when you're 25 years, when you're 30 years, when you're 40 years, with the whole bunch of misinformation about lifestyle at 40, whatever, whoever invented all of that. So there is nothing like the best time about starting a business. And you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to understand everything about the picture. You just have to have an idea and go. So my millionaire mentor, Grant Cardone, said, and I quote, "It is not about having a business plan. It is about three things. Knowing what you want to do, decide what this is, decide that this is what you want to do. Number two, ask yourself who has your money. In other words, which people are your ideal clients, and then three, go after them and take that money. Give them your service or sell them your products and take the money." So Grant Cardone said it all the time. You don't need a business plan to start a business. You just have to ask yourself, all right, what do I want to do? Does that thing has a market? So you need to understand the demography of your market, or yeah, you need to have an understanding of are people demanding for the product. You see, when it comes to demand of a product, there are two types of demand. We have what we call existing demand and created demand. Now, usually some people advise that it is better to go into existing demand, and because that one you can make money. But let me give you the definition of the two. Existing demand is simply where there is already a market for the product. People are demanding for the product. People are always buying it for the product. It's more or less like they are day in and day out. So products that have existing demand will include maybe clothing has existing demand, shoes, watches, right, soap, and some other things. These have what? Existing demand. So when you are going into some of these things, you only leverage on the marketing and you take your cream in the market. Very simple, right? Very simple. But there are some products that are called created demand. For instance, that product, there is none available in your market, available in the country you may be in, or the town, or the city, or the state you may be in. So you would have to create the demand for those products. So the question you then ask yourself is, how do you create a demand for this product? A typical example of that was what we launched last year for my company, Nhyira Premium University. Now, this is an online study portal that allows students preparing for the ICA and ACCA exams, but to be specific, the ICA exams, to study online. Now, there was nothing like that the ICA course is being available or being taken online, and right now we have some students across the country who are studying online and preparing for their examination. So there was nothing like that. So there was no existing market, but we needed to create the market. So we thought about the idea, we realized that people needed it because people were having a lot of challenges. People are not able to have access to quality professional education to prepare adequately for the examination. So we saw the problem, we did a market research, we realized there was a demand, and boom, we developed the study portal. We spent thousands of dollars to develop that, and we set it up. And once we set it up, we did intensive marketing, and we continue to intensify marketing to drive traffic and create awareness for it, and that is how it is. So with existing demand, you realize that the market is already there. You just go in and you start making the money. But with created demand, you have to create your own demand. You need to create awareness. People may need it, but they may not even be aware of it. But that is where the cream is. Because really, if there is something that people need, but there is no company doing it, no company providing for it, when you now begin to provide for it and it's a quality product and you create the awareness very well, then you will start making huge sum of money. And so before competitors will come into it, you are now become a brand. People are now trusting you, and definitely you can make more money in the long term. So when you're starting the business, you need to find out, is this idea that I'm having, is this idea already having an existing demand, or it's an idea that I need to create a demand for it? Does it have a market, or I must inform people the necessity of it? This is very important, because the time that Steve Jobs invented the iPhone, many of the features that the iPhone was having were not something that people expected or people would normally would use. But it was invented and people were informed about it, and then they realized that, wow, this is a great tool, and they begin to go about it. So sometimes it's not necessarily about what is happening in the market, because sometimes customers want something that they don't even know they want. And that is the dilemma. Customers want something that they don't even know they want. The reason why they don't even know they want is that they are not told that something like this could make their life better. Something like this could transform their life. Something like this could add a lot of value to their life. So what you have to do as an entrepreneur rising up is that idea that you are working on, you need to ask yourself, is it having existing demand or is it created demand? Is this something that is already selling or something that I have to create the market for? Is this something that is available that I can quickly pick up or something that I need to work towards? So fundamentally, you need to find out about that in the product. You need to find out about that in the service. You need to find about that in the undertaking. So that is one thing you need to understand. Now, once you know your product, once you know there is a market for it, then you need to find out who are your ideal clients. Very important. It is not everybody that you can sell to, and truth be told, you can't sell to everybody because not everybody needs your product. There are only a fraction of the over 7.5 billion people on the planet that needs your product, right? The people in your country, the people in the city, the people in the town, there is only a fraction of them that need your product. For instance, our online study portal, the Nhyira Premium University.com, it's not for everybody. It's not for tertiary students. We are not offering online degree courses yet. We are not doing online diploma courses yet, even though all of these things are in the pipeline. We are not doing that yet. Currently, we are just focusing on a niche in the market, and that is the Institute of Chartered Accountants Professional Qualification Examination. So that is what we are giving. And as I mentioned, people didn't know that something like that they needed, right? But then, once it was invented, once we brought it up, we did the marketing, we did the traffic, and gradually it is gaining awareness and it's gaining what? People's eyes. So we realize you can't sell to everybody, so you need to niche, narrow down who are your customers. So for that segment of our business, our ideal customers will be what? Students and prospective students for their professional qualification examination, business graduates from the university, right? So you need to find out who your ideal clients are. So one, what products do you want to sell? What service do you want to render? What is it that you want to do? Two, who are your ideal clients? Very important. Very, very important. So you find out who your ideal clients are. Where do they hang out? Where can you find them? Where can you locate them? Where can you sell your products to them? So once you know who your ideal clients are, and then the third stage that Grant Kedon talks about is you go for them. You go after them. You go and sell your product to them. You advertise to them. You sell your product to them and you let them know about your product. But this is one thing that you need to understand. If you are starting out as a business, one of the things you need to do is not to start selling the product, because people don't know about the product. So chances are they may resist the product at the initial stage. So what you have to do as an entrepreneur is to find out, how can I let people be aware of the product? So one of the things we did on the Nhyira Premium University.com is to provide free courses. So we have free courses which allow people to come in to look at how the courses look like. Because for instance, if I come and I ask you and I'm selling you, I'm having a food that I'm selling, then I say this food is $10. Will you buy? You won't buy. But what if I come and I say, okay, I'm selling this food or I'm selling this cake, but you can take a bite. If you take a bite and you like it, you can buy it. Chances are the people who take the bite or a bite of the cake, most of them are likely to what? Buy the full cake. So that is the strategy I want you to adopt when you are starting your business. So once you know the product, the service that you want to render, you know who your clients are, you need to go after them. But when you are going after them, you need to pitch them, you need to earn their trust. You need to earn their words. You need to earn their trust. Because it is only when they trust you that they can give you money. It is only when they trust you that they can provide you, invest in your business. Because remember, the very first and most important investors that you can ever have or you can ever encounter on your journey of starting your business are your first customers, or it's your first customer. Let me put it that way. It's your first customer. The best investors that you can have will be your customers. So who are going to be your first customers? Because these customers, when they buy, they're actually investing in your products. Okay, when people buy from you, they are actually investing in your product. Why? Because you are making a profit. That profit you are making, you're going to put it back into the business. So instead of looking for investors, what you want to do as a rising entrepreneur is to find out, how can I start selling my products to the people? Because once you start selling your product to them, then now you go to the next step where you start putting the money back into the business and putting the money back into the business until you become large enough to really invite some venture capitalists or other forms of investment into the business. So when you are starting your business, these are a couple of things that you need to understand in the introduction or introduction stage of the business. What you need to do is that know your product, understand your product very well. Once you understand your products very well, who are your ideal clients? Once you know your ideal clients, go after them, speak to them, talk to them, find out where they are, and give them the product. When you go, because you are starting, give them a bite of the cake. Let them have a taste of the service. Provide free service to them. When you do that, you earn their trust. Once they know they can get value from you, even without paying anything, you win their trust. Because remember, chances are almost everything you want to do is already being done by a bigger company. Chances are. If it is a social media app you want to invent, it has already been invented. Okay? If it is a mobile phone you want to invent, it has already been invented. If it is a software you want to bring in, there is already a software somewhere similar like that. So you need to now find out, how can I sell that software? How can I sell that app? How can I sell my service to the people? And that is where the free service comes in. So once you're able to provide free service to your potential customers, ideally, not all of them will turn out, but if you provide free service to 10 people and even 3 of them or 2 of them or even 1 of them comes to buy from you, it's a plus for you. Because the people who even tasted it, who did not buy today, when you continue in the future, they will come and buy from you, and chances are they are going to be your best customers. So these are some of the things that you need to understand at the introduction stage of your business, when you are finding out how to start your business, when to start your business in relation to that. So in the next video, I'll be talking to you about the key strategies that you have to focus on in relation to starting your business.